There is a reason why so many people start with dreams that burn like fire, yet they end up with nothing but ashes in their hands. The difference between those who rise to greatness and those who fall into obscurity is not talent, not luck, not even education. It is persistence. And persistence is never an accident. It is built brick by brick through 4 deliberate steps that anyone can take. If you miss them, you will fail. If you master them, nothing in this world can keep you from success. Let me begin by asking you a question. How badly? Do you really want what you say you want? Because if your desire is weak, if it is nothing more than a wish whispered into the night, it will dissolve at the first sign of resistance. But if your desire is fierce, if it is a burning obsession, then you already hold the first step to persistence, the definite purpose backed by burning desire. Without this, you are like a ship at sea with no compass, no anchor, and no destination. With it, you become unstoppable, because nothing is more powerful than a man or woman who knows exactly what they want and refuses to settle for less. Think of the men who shaped history. Edison, who tested 10,000 times before the light bulb came to life. Ford, who faced ridicule when he insisted that he would build a car affordable to every working man. They were not driven by casual interest. They were driven by obsession, by an inner fire that burned so hot it refused to go out, no matter how many storms tried to extinguish it. That is what you need, something so strong within you that defeat cannot touch it. And let me tell you something most people never admit. The world will test you. The moment you set your eyes on a definite purpose, life itself will rise to challenge you. Obstacles will come. Friends will doubt you. The path will seem longer than you imagined. But here lies the secret: the test is not designed to break you. It is designed to prove you. If your desire is weak, you will quit. If your desire is strong, every obstacle becomes fuel, and every failure becomes proof that you are still in the fight. That is persistence. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the life you say you want. The wealth, the freedom, the impact, the respect. Can you feel it in your bones? Does it make your heart race? If it does not, then your desire is not yet strong enough. And if it is not strong enough, you will never persist. Because persistence is not built on logic, it is built on emotion, on a fire that keeps burning when logic tells you to stop. This is why so many men and women give up on their dreams. They confuse a passing interest with a burning desire. They say, "I'd like to be rich. I'd like to succeed." But liking is not enough. You must want it so badly that the very thought of living without it feels unbearable. That is when persistence is born. Do not misunderstand me. Desire alone is not enough. Many people want, but few achieve. The reason is simple. Their desire is shallow, not definite. They wish for many things, but commit to nothing. A definite purpose backed by burning. Desire is like a laser. It focuses all your energy into one point until nothing can resist it. Without that focus, your energy is scattered, and your persistence vanishes at the first obstacle. Let me give you a truth that can change your life. Right now, until you decide exactly what you want, in exact terms, with a passion that will not take no for an answer, persistence will remain out of reach. But once you decide, once you commit, once you tie your soul to a definite purpose, the universe itself begins to bend in your favor. People will call it luck, but you will know it is persistence guided by desire. So I ask you again, what is your definite purpose? Not a vague hope, not a dream written on the wind, but a burning desire you would stake your life upon. Until you answer this question, persistence cannot be yours. And if persistence is not yours, then neither will success be. But when you answer it, and you back that answer with obsession, you will have built the first foundation stone of persistence. And that stone will hold, no matter what storms come your way. Understand this: the man who persists is never defeated. He may be delayed, he may be tested, he may be bruised, but he is never defeated, because defeat is only permanent when you accept it. As long as you keep moving, as long as your desire burns, you are still in the game. And if you stay in the game long enough, victory is inevitable. Remember, the first step is not talent. It is not connections. It is not education. It is desire a definite purpose, burning like fire in your heart. Without it, persistence is impossible. With it, persistence becomes your natural state. And when persistence becomes your natural state, success becomes your destiny. So let me leave you with this thought for today. Stop wishing, stop hoping, stop drifting. Decide. Choose one thing that matters more to you than comfort, more than approval, more than fear. Commit to it with every fiber of your being. Let it burn inside you until it consumes every excuse. That is the first step to persistence. That is where greatness begins. Every dreamer begins with desire. But desire alone is like fire without fuel. It burns out quickly if it is not fed. That is why the second foundation of persistence is not just wanting, but planning. A definite plan, backed by continuous action, is the bridge between wishing and having. And here is the truth. The world never rewards vague ambition. It only rewards precise strategy, carried out with relentless effort. Let me ask you something. How many people do you know who talk endlessly about what they want to do, start a business, change their lives, build wealth, achieve freedom, yet never move beyond talking? Their desire may be real, but without a plan, it is nothing more than smoke. The man with no plan is like a traveler without a map, wandering in circles, wasting time, growing frustrated, and eventually giving up. But the man with a definite plan can march through storms because he knows exactly where he is going and how he will get there. Think of the builders of great empires. Did Rockefeller rise by accident? Did Carnegie stumble into steel by luck? Did Henry Ford simply wish cars into existence? No, they took their burning desire and forged it into blueprints. They made definite plans and then took action day after day. No matter how small, no matter how difficult, their success was not magic. It was planned, step by step, action by action, until their dreams became reality. Here is a truth that may shock you. Success does not come to those who merely work hard. Millions work hard their entire lives and remain broke, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Success comes to those who work hard with a plan. The plan gives direction to the effort, and the effort gives life to the plan. Without both, persistence collapses. Do not wait for a perfect plan. That is the excuse of cowards and procrastinators. A plan does not need to be flawless, it only needs to exist. Begin with what you have, refine as you go, and let experience sharpen your course. Action will reveal what theory never can. The man who waits until he knows everything will never begin. The man who begins with what he knows will soon learn everything he needs. Understand this. Every step you take toward your plan, no matter how small, strengthens persistence. When you take action, you build momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence fuels more action. And before you realize it, what once felt impossible begins to feel inevitable. This is why action is non-negotiable. Without action, even the greatest plan remains a dream. But with action, even an imperfect plan can become destiny. And here lies another secret. When you act consistently, the universe begins to align in your favor. Resources appear. Opportunities emerge. People you never expected step forward to help. What looks like coincidence is simply the law of cause and effect responding to your persistence. You moved, and so the world moved with you. But let me warn you, the opposite is also true. When you hesitate, when you drift without a plan, when you waste time in indecision, the world punishes you. Doors close. Opportunities vanish. Time slips away. Indecision is the death of persistence. A definite plan, acted upon daily, is its lifeblood. So I ask you now, what is your plan? Not a fantasy, not a someday maybe, but a clear, actionable plan that you can start today. Can you write it down? Can you break it into steps? Can you move on it right now? If the answer is no, then you are not yet serious about success. Because those who are serious never wait, they act. Even with incomplete plans, because they know persistence grows only in motion. Think about the farmers of old. They did not say, "Someday I'll harvest." They plowed, they planted, they watered. They worked day after day, following a definite process. And because of their action, the harvest was guaranteed. Your dream is no different. Desire is the seed, but planning and action are the farming. Without them, the seed dies in the soil. With them, the seed grows into abundance. Perhaps you say, "But I have failed before. I had a plan and it didn't work." To that, I say good. Failure means you acted. And failure does not mean stop. It means adjust. Every failure reveals what doesn't work, bringing you closer to what does. The man who refuses to act because of fear of failure has already failed. The man who persists with action, adapting and refining, cannot lose. The only permanent defeat is surrender. Do you see now why persistence is built upon planning and action? Desire gives you fuel, but planning gives you direction. And action gives you momentum. Together, they form an unbreakable chain. Without one link, the chain collapses. But when all three are present, nothing on earth can break you. Let this truth sink into your heart. Drifting is the enemy of greatness. A man who drifts has no power, no certainty, no persistence. But the man with a definite plan, earning desire, and daily action, he bends circumstances to his will. He does not wait for luck. He does not pray for chance. He creates his own destiny through persistence. So tonight, before you sleep, write your plan. Not tomorrow, not someday, tonight. Decide what steps you will take tomorrow morning to move toward your purpose. Write them. Commit to them. Then, when morning comes, take action, no matter how small, no matter how uncomfortable, and repeat. Do this daily, and persistence will become your nature. And once persistence becomes your nature, success is no longer a question of if, it is only a question of when. Remember, the second foundation of persistence is this: a definite plan, backed by continuous action. Without it, you are a dreamer. With it, you are a creator. And creators rule the world. Every man who has ever climbed the mountain of success has carried the scars of battle. Defeat visits us all. Obstacles, rejection, delays, betrayal, loss, they are part of the price. And yet, defeat itself is not final. It is never the end unless you accept it as such. The third foundation of persistence is faith and resilience. The unshakable belief that you will rise, no matter how many times you are knocked down. I tell you this with certainty. The man who quits after the first setback never discovers his true strength. The man who endures every blow, wipes away the blood, stands tall, and says, "I will not be broken," becomes unstoppable. Life respects no one who surrenders, but it bends in favor of those who refuse to bow. Think of Thomas Edison. Thousands of failed attempts, countless nights of frustration, endless criticism, and yet his faith in his goal never wavered. "I have not failed," he said. "I've simply found thousands of ways that will not work." That is resilience. That is persistence. And because of it, he gave the world the electric light. History is crowded with such examples. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, suffered depression, and buried loved ones, yet he kept moving forward. When the world had written him off as defeated, he became one of the greatest leaders in American history. Why? Because he persisted. His faith in his mission outlived every failure. Understand this truth. Defeat is never permanent unless you surrender. Every obstacle carries within it a lesson. Every failure hides a seed of greater opportunity. When you cultivate faith, you learn to look at defeat not as the end, but as a stepping stone. The weak man curses defeat and quits. The strong man studies defeat and grows. But how do you build such faith? You build it daily. You remind yourself constantly of your purpose. You visualize your victory when the world calls you foolish. You keep the company of those who strengthen your belief and avoid the cynics who laugh at persistence. And above all, you act. Action is the soil in which faith grows. When you move forward, despite fear, despite doubt, despite pain, you teach your mind that you are greater than your circumstances. There will be nights when despair whispers in your ear. There will be days when everything falls apart. You will ask yourself, is it worth it? Should I stop? And in those moments, you must remember winners are simply losers who never stopped trying. Every master was once a beginner who stumbled. Every empire was once an idea that looked impossible. And every great success story was written by a man or woman who chose persistence over surrender. When you stand firm in faith, defeat becomes temporary. When you rise again and again, resilience becomes your nature. And when resilience becomes your nature, persistence becomes unbreakable. No force on earth can hold down a man who refuses to stay down. Think about the oak tree in the storm. The winds howl, the rain beats down, branches snap, yet the roots hold. Why? Because the roots go deep. Your faith is your root. When it is deep, no storm of defeat can uproot you. But if your faith is shallow, the first storm will destroy you. Strengthen your roots. Deepen your belief. And no storm will break you. Persistence is not about never falling. It is about always rising. It is not about avoiding defeat. It is about mastering it. Defeat is a test, a filter that separates the weak from the strong, the temporary from the eternal, the wishers from the doers. When you pass this test, the world opens its treasures to you. Let me remind you, life never denies persistence. It may delay, it may test, it may challenge, but it never denies. Those who endure long enough always receive their reward. It is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of law, cause and effect, plant and harvest, persist and succeed. So I challenge you now, will you surrender at the first obstacle? Or will you persist until the last breath? Will you live as a drifter? Or will you rise as a creator? The choice is yours, and your destiny is hidden within it. Because persistence is not a skill, it is a decision. It is the daily choice to keep moving forward, no matter how dark, no matter how heavy, no matter how hopeless it may seem. And when you choose it, day after day, you awaken a power greater than fear, greater than failure, greater than defeat itself. That power is the very essence of greatness. Remember this final truth. Success is never given, it is claimed. It is claimed by the man who persists when others quit. It is claimed by the woman who stands tall when others bow. It is claimed by those who understand that defeat is not the end, but the beginning of greatness. And now, as we close, let these words echo in your soul. Desire gives birth to dreams. Planning and action give them life. And faith and resilience carry them to victory. Persistence is the master key that unlocks every door, the weapon that breaks every chain, the fire that turns ordinary men into legends. So rise, persist, refuse to surrender, and know that your destiny awaits, ready to reward your persistence. Outro. The world has only two kinds of people, those who quit and those who persist. Decide today which one you will be. For if you persist long enough, victory is certain, and your name will be written among the few who refuse to bow.